Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day. Don't forget, grab your smartphone and download the Lava Matra app and stay in touch. Guru Maharaj's message is your advantage. The following is a Sri Krishna Chaitanya book compilation given by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj on December 8th, 2022 in Sri Mayapur, India.
Bangur Langai Tegiri Sri Guru Dhinatarinam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram
Hare Krishna, dear devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we will continue with the compilation of the Sri Krishna Chaitanya book. Today the chapter is entitled as Swarup Damodar points out the offense of the poet and provides him the remedy. Part 1. Under the section How Pradyumna Mishra received instruction from Ramananda Raya. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 5.112.
Nandi Sloka Bangadeshya Vipokrita Sloka.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead has assumed a golden complexion and has become the soul of the body named Lord Jagannath, whose blooming lotus eyes are widely expanded. Thus, he has appeared in Jagannath Puri and brought dull matter to life. May that Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Dev bestow Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 5.130.
স্বরূপ ব্যতীত সকলের প্রশংসা শ্লোক শুনি সর্বলোক তাহারে বাখানে স্বরূপ কহে এই শ্লোক করহ বাখানে.
When everyone present heard the verse, they all commended the poet. Commended the poet. But Swarup Damodar Goswami requested him, kindly explain this verse. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Leela 5.114.
মূর্খ কবির শুদ্ধ ভক্তি সিদ্ধান্ত বিরুদ্ধ মায়াবাদ দোষ. কবি কহে জগন্নাথ সুন্দর শরীর চৈতন্য গোসাই শরীরি মহাধীর.
Poet said, Lord Jagannath is a most beautiful body, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is exceptionally great, is the owner of that body. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Shariri refers to a person who owns the Sharira or body, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 2.13, Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatra vyati. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. For the ordinary living being in the material existence, there is a division or distinction between the body and the owner of the body. In spiritual existence, however, there is no such distinction, for the body is the owner himself, and the owner is the body itself. In spiritual existence, everything must be spiritual. Therefore, no distinction between the body and its owner.
Because the heart saw the distinction between a Jara body and Lord Chaitanya.
Because the poet saw distinction between Lord Jagannath's body and Lord Chaitanya,
He was
he was committing
committing aparadha.
aparadha.
He was comparing Lord Jagannath like an ordinary body entity.
He was comparing Lord Jagannath like an ordinary living entity. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Telila 5.115.
সহজে জড় জগতে চেতন করাইতে নীলাচলে মহাপ্রভু হইলা আবির্ভূতে।
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared here in Nilachal, Jagannath Puri to spiritualize the entire dull material world. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Telila 5.116.
সকলের হর্ষ হইলেও জগৎগুরু বৈষ্ণব আচার্য শ্রী স্বরূপের ক্রোধ ও শাস্ত্র সিদ্ধান্ত অসিধারা কুমদ ছেদনরূপ দয়া শুনিয়া সবার হইল আনন্দিত মন দুঃখ পাইয়া স্বরূপ কহে সক্রুদ বচন।
Hearing these, everyone present was greatly happy. But Swarup Damodar, who alone was very unhappy, began to speak in great anger. Chaitanya Charitamrita 117.
ক্রোধের কারণ নির্দেশ এক বিষ্ণুতে জীব বুদ্ধি নিরয়জনক। আরে মূর্খ আপনার কইলি সর্বনাশ দুই তো ঈশ্বরে তোর নাহিক বিশ্বাস।
You are a fool, he said. You have brought ill fortune upon yourself, for you have no knowledge of the existence of the two lords Jagannath Dev and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, nor have you faith in them. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Telila 5.118.
পূর্ণানন্দ চিৎস্বরূপ জগন্নাথ রায় তারে কইলি জড় নশ্বর আকৃত কায়।
Lord Jagannath is completely spiritual and full of transcendental bliss, but you have compared him to a dull, destructible body composed of the inert external energy of the Lord. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. If one thinks that the form of Lord Jagannath is an idol made of wood, he immediately brings ill fortune into his life. According to the direction of the Padma Purana, Arche Vishnu Shila Dihi Yasya Va Naraki Saha. Anyone who considers the deity in the temple to be made of stone or wood is a resident of hell. Thus, one who thinks that the body of Lord Jagannath is made of matter and who distinguishes between Lord Jagannath's body and his soul is condemned, for he is an offender. A pure devotee who knows the science of Krishna consciousness makes no distinction between Lord Jagannath and his body. He knows that they are identical, just as Lord Krishna and his soul are one and the same. When one's eyes are purified by devotional service performed on the spiritual platform, one can actually envision Lord Jagannath and his body as being completely spiritual. The advanced devotee therefore does not see the worshipable deity as having a soul within a body like an ordinary human being. There is no distinction between the body and the soul of Lord Jagannath, for Lord Jagannath is Sachidananda Vigraha, just as the body of Krishna is Sachidananda Vigraha. There is actually no difference between Lord Jagannath and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But the ignorant poet from Bengal applied a material distinction to the body of Lord Jagannath. Sri Jagannath.
Sarudam.
The scene will be Jagannath and Lord Chaitanya are spiritual and real.
So Swarup Damodar Goswami is saying, seeing a distinction between the body of Lord Jagannath and Lord Chaitanya.
Because we are completely spiritual.
He says that there should not see distinction between the body of Lord Jagannath and Lord Chaitanya because they are completely spiritual.
So, therefore, this is why Lord Chaitanya had asked Sri Damodar to have the poetry of the
So therefore, Lord Chaitanya asked Swarup Damodar, check the poetry at first. The Chaitanya Chaitamrita Antarila 5.190.
পূর্ণ সরৈশ্বর্য চৈতন্য স্বয়ং ভগবান তারে কেলি ক্ষুদ্র জীব স্ফুলিঙ্গ সমান
You have calculated Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, full in 6 opulences, to be on the level of an ordinary living being. Instead of knowing him as the Supreme Fire, we have accepted him as a spark. Taught by his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. In the Upanishads, it is said, Yadapnev Vishpulinga Yucharanti. The living entities are like sparks of fire, and his Lordship, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is considered the original great fire. When we hear this Shruti Vakya or message from the Vedas, we should understand the distinction between the Supreme Lord Krishna and the living entities. A person under the control of the external energy, however, cannot understand that distinction. Such a person cannot understand that the Supreme Person is the original great fire, whereas the living entities are simply small fragmental part of that Supreme Personality of Godhead. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita 15.7, Amai Vamsa Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha Manashashtani Indriyani Prakriti Stani Dakshati. The living entities in the conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the 6 senses, which include the mind. There is a distinction between the body and soul of materially existing living being. But because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Jagannath do not possess material bodies, there is no distinction between their bodies and souls. On the spiritual platform, body and soul are identical. There is no distinction between them. And stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.11.38, there this is the divinity of the personality of Godhead. He is not affected by the qualities of material nature, even though he is in contact with them. Similarly, the devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord cannot be influenced by the material qualities. His Lordship, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is unaffected. His Lordship, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is unaffected by the influence of the 3 modes of material nature. Indeed, his devotees are also unpolluted by the influence of the external energy because they engage in the service of his Lordship. Even the very body of a devotee becomes spiritualized, just as an iron rod put into fire becomes as qualified as fire because it becomes red hot and will immediately burn anything it touches. Therefore, the poet from Bengal Therefore, the poet from Bengal committed a great offense by treating Lord Jagannath's body and Lord Jagannath, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as two different entities, material and spiritual, as if the Lord were an ordinary living being. The Lord is always the master of the material energy. Therefore, he is not doomed to be covered by the material energy like ordinary living entity.
The conditioned soul is a small spiritual spark,
The conditioned soul is a small spiritual spark,
and it has a material body,
and it has a material body.
five gross elements,
It is made of 5 gross elements,
and some body of three elements.
and another subtle body of 3 subtle elements.
The Vedanta is totally Satchidananda.
But the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is totally Satchidananda.
It does not have any material body.
He does not have any material body.
My body of personalist,
Mayavadi personalist
I say that Krishna has taken a body of one of others.
who think that Krishna has taken a body in a mode of worthless.
So they're coming this offense.
So they are committing this offense.
So he's Siddhartha in the story accusing the poet of Bengal, but he would save others.
So Swarup Damodar Goswami is accusing the poet from Bengal for making the same offense. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ante Leela 5.120.
অক্ষজ গানী তর্কপন্থী ভক্তি সিদ্ধান্ত অনভিজ্ঞের কৃষ্ণ বর্ণন চেষ্টা দুঃসাহসিকতা দুই ঠাই অপরাধে পাইবি দুর্গতি অতত্ত্বজ্ঞ তত্ত্ব বর্ণে তার এই গতি
Swarup Damodar continued, because you have committed an offense to Lord Jagannath and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you will attain a hellish destination. You do not know how to describe the absolute truth, but nevertheless you have tried to do so, therefore you must be condemned. Report by Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Srila Prabhupada. The Brahmana poet from Bengal was an offender in the estimation of Swarup Damodar Goswami. For although the poet had no knowledge of the absolute truth, he had nevertheless tried to describe it. The Bengali poet was an offender to both Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Jagannath, because he had made a distinction between Lord Jagannath's body and his soul, and because he had indicated that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was different from Lord Jagannath, he had committed offences to them both. The Tattvajna refers to one who has no knowledge, Atatvajna, not Atatvajna. Atatvajna refers to one who has no knowledge of the absolute truth or who worships his own body as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If an Anghara Upasaka Mayavadi, a person engaged in fruitive activities, or a person interested only in sense gratification describes the absolute truth, he immediately becomes an offender.
To describe the absolute truth, one has to be
To describe the absolute truth, one has to be a Tattvajna,
person who knows the absolute truth.
a person who knows the absolute truth.
If I don't know, he is bound to commit offense.
If he doesn't know, he is bound to commit offense.
Trying to describe the absolute truth.
If he tries to describe the absolute truth.
Then the absolute truth is like a conditioned soul.
He thinks that the absolute truth is like a conditioned soul. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ante Leela 5.121.
দুই ঈশ্বরের দেহ দেখি ভেদ নির্দেশরূপ অপরাধী প্রমাণ আরে করিয়াছ পরম প্রমাণ দেহ দেহি ভেদ ঈশ্বরে কইলে অপরাধ
You are in complete illusion, for you have distinguished between the body and soul of His Lordship, Lord Jagannath or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is a great offense. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. When one differentiates between the body and the soul of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he immediately becomes an offender, because the living entities in the material world are generally covered by the material body. The body and the soul of an ordinary human being cannot be identical. The Supreme Lord bestows the fruits of one's activities, for He is the Lord of the results of fruitive actions. He is also the cause of all causes, and He is the master of the material energy. Therefore, He is supreme. An ordinary living being, however, in his material condition experiences the results of his own fruitive activities and therefore falls under their influence. Even in the liberated stage of Brahma Bhuta identification, he engages in rendering service to his Lordship. Thus, there are distinctions between the ordinary human being and the Supreme Lord. Karmis and Jnanis who ignore these distinctions are offenders against the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of God. An ordinary human being is with the material energy, whereas His Lordship, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna or Lord Jagannath, is always the master of the material energy and is therefore never subject to its influence. His Lordship, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has an unlimited spiritual identity, never to be broken, whereas the consciousness of the living entity is limited and fragmented. The living entities are fragmental portions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead eternally. Amai-vamso jiva-loke jiva-bhuta sanatanaha. It is not that they are covered by the material energy in conditioned life, but become one with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and freed from the influence of material energy. Such an idea is offensive. According to the consideration of the Mayavadi fools, the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts a material body when He appears in the material world. A Vaishnava, however, knows perfectly well that for Krishna, Lord Jagannath and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, unlike for ordinary human beings, there is no distinction between the body and the soul. Even in the material world, His Lordship retains His spiritual identity. Therefore, Lord Krishna exhibited all opulences even in His childhood body. There is no distinction between the body and the soul of Krishna, whether he is in his childhood body or his youthful body. He is always identical with his body. Even though Krishna appears like an ordinary human being, he is never subjected to the rules and regulations of the material world. He is Swaraj, or fully independent. He can appear in the material world, but contrary to the offensive conclusion of the Mayavada school, he has no material body. In this connection, one may again refer to the above mentioned verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.11.38. The Supreme Person has an eternal spiritual body. If one tries to distinguish between the body and the soul of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he commits a great offense.
Allah Samhita says, Krishna, Om, Satchidananda.
In the Brahma Samhita it is said, Krishna's form is Satchidananda.
And the Veda also says, Krishna has the body of Satchidananda.
In the Rig Veda it also says, Krishna has the qualities of Satchidananda.
He is always spiritual.
He is always spiritual.
He never becomes God.
He
Never becomes more God.
He is always God.
He is always God. He never becomes God. Thus ends the part 1 of the chapter entitled Sarup Damodar points out the offense of the poet and provides him the remedy.
927.
Under the section How Pradyumna Mishra received instructions from Ramananda Rai.
And to thank all the devotees who sponsored Bhagavad Gita and other Shastra.
So we'd like to thank the devotees who have sponsored the Bhagavad Gita and other Shastras
On this marathon time,
on this marathon time,
on the Gita Jayanti day,
on the Gita Jayanti day.
all blessings to you.
All blessings to you.
Krishna Matirastu.
Krishna Matirastu. Also blessings to all the devotees who have joined. Blessings to all the devotees who have joined physically, virtually.
Krishna Matirastu.
Krishna Matirastu. Very good.
Krishna Matiruhu.
Krishna Matirastu.
Wow, Gaura Hari.
Thank you for watching our videos. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day. And don't forget to like and share our channel.